Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Yeah, hope everyone hope to enjoy like a more spring summer feeling, like a spring feeling, right? Soon, a little chilly, but we had good weather so far in the winter, so no complaint, right? Okay, so really happy to see you all, and then all the members. Every time I come here, and then just standing here looking each of you, I'm really feeling like what a blessing, right? We have here walking this journey, life of faith together, and then growing together. Sometimes we shed a tear together, right? Laugh together, do something great, amazing together. So I'm so grateful all the journey we had for last many years, right? So let's keep that up. And this year, you know that I'm turning to 50. so oh my God, getting old. So like after 10 years, maybe I have to start thinking about my retirement. so I can like reflecting my life, like okay, honestly, right? How am I doing, right? It's a moment, right? We're becoming 50, right? So you passed more than half of your life turning point, right? And then you try to do many things, and then you've been doing, but reflecting, like, how am I doing? Am I even happy, right? I don't know if our senior members had that moment as you're turning to 50, 60, some of you now 70, like you had a moment reflecting life. Oh my gosh, I've been through this many. Am I happy? That was my question. So, you know that when I went to India a month ago, actually I bought a book, like I want to read something in the airplane. So it was Energy Bus, kind of how to create the positive energy and then making that community, like a group organization, really like a high energy group, right? And that was my main message I was preparing. But when I think through about this, oh, how we can be a high energy group, right? To do that, we have to be happy, I think. So that was my question to heavenly parents. Honestly, when I reflect myself, am I happy? Right? I wanna invite you to think with me, right? So at this moment of my life, all the paths I went through, am I happy? Right? So that's the topic, happy life. So I wanna discuss with you and then think about how we can reflect, how we can learn, how we can also understand that the happiness in right way. So first of all, maybe you remember this person. Do you know who is this person? Robin Williams, right? Have you watched this movie? Yeah. What was your favorite movie? Downfire, right? So my family too. We had like we love this Robin Williams. It's amazing guy, right? So fun and giving lots of joy, right? So Mrs. Doubtfire, we watched it several times with the family. I liked the like the Hook, right? That was a good movie too. And what else? Like you remember? Yeah, Aladdin, right? So there's so many movies he had, right? So his life is amazing. Like oh my God, he giving so much joy and like happiness, right? Fun, this kind of laughter to the people, millions people. But as you know that he was found dead in his home on August 11, 2014, right? And then final autopsy report concluded that his death was a suicide. He did suicide, hanging himself, and then he died. They didn't find any like alcohol or drug use, illegal drug use. So he was clean. And then they also found a note that he was suffering from some depression and anxiety. So in external, he was so happy. One of the amazing American comedian, right? And then amazing actor, giving lots of joy and laughter to the people. But inner side, I don't know, he was happy, right? He ended up killing himself by hanging, right? He wasn't like a drug or alcohol, like addictive, right? He was clean. So that really shocked the people. Wow, how come? How that happened? He looked like a happiest person in the world, but inner side, he wasn't the happiest person. He was one of the most miserable person inner side, right? And making that kind of decision. So in that sense, I really want to reflect again, right? Maybe you don't need to talk, right? You don't need to be vulnerable, talking to others. Actually, I'm not happy. But today, I want to invite you, at least reveal your feeling with God, right? God, I'm happy. Or, God, I don't know, I'm not happy. Help me, right? So that's the main themes for today's message. So whatever you kind of greet people in the morning, right? I know that. I do too. Even I, pastor, I cannot be always happy. Sometimes I also going through depression. I'm going through the time moments. I'm not happy. But when we come here, we trying to sure, I'm happy, right? Greeting each other, shaking hands. Kind of we are wearing some kind of mask, right? But today, through our reflection, let's put down that before God. At least I want to be truly vulnerable before God. I want to be truthfully reveal, where am I? How am I doing? Right? That's what I want to do today. So, what is a happy life, you think? Happy life means? Right? Karen, what do you think a happy life is? Right? It's not simple answer, right? If I make lots of money, am I going to be happy? If I have a wonderful family, I'm going to be happy. If I fulfill lots of a mission given by Providence, God, am I going to be happy? Right. Bruce, yes. Meaningful relationship, yes. Yes. That's one of the most important, right? To be happy. So everyone wants to be happy. That's why we study, right? You go to college to be happy. Isn't it? You go to college to be miserable with all the homework, but after you finishing it, I want to be happy. I want to be happy so that I marry. I want to have a family to be happy. No one here want to have a family, right? To be miserable. I want to be happy. I want to marry to be happy, right? I want to have children to be happy, isn't it? I want to buy a house to be happy, right? I want to go somewhere to have a trip, right? To be happy. So all things, right, we do many things to be happy. What about God? Right? What about also religion, our faith here? You go to church. Why you go to church? You go to church because you go to church, or think about your heart, right? I want to go to church to be happy. Isn't it? I want to have a religion. There's just so many different religions. Why people have the religion? Why have that faith in the religion? Right? To be happy. Isn't it? If that religion doesn't give me the happiness, if this church cannot ever provide happiness to you, why I'm here? Right? It just give me pain. Right? Isn't it? So think about as our community here. Okay, are we creating happiness here? Right? That's a good question too. Right? So we believe in God to be happy. And God also created all things because He wants to be happy and feel the joy through His creation, His children, His object partners, right? That's why He created everything in all creation He made. After each day of creation, He said, it was good, isn't it? He felt joy. He was happy. But the only creation He didn't say it was good after creation yet was who? Adam and Eve, right? Adam and Eve. But that's because He wanted to create the joy together with His children. Give them the blessing, right? It's not like I create something over the growth period, I receive the joy, right? Like other creation. But for human beings, Adam and Eve, He wants to co-create the joy, right? That's why there's a portion of responsibility, right? We co-create the joy. God cannot just feel the joy by Himself, just looking at the children. We have to return the joy to God, isn't it? So we co-create the joy. And the God want to be happy and joyful. That's why He created everything. Because no one can exist alone and be happy, right? Let's say there's a beautiful Patricia here. She's one of the most beautiful woman, for example. But there's no one else living in the earth. She's the only one. Then she's not going to be happy. The beauty doesn't matter, isn't it? So we need the person, anyone, even God cannot exist alone to be happy. So God's created everything to be happy, right? So there's some commonality. I want to be happy, right? And God wants to be happy. What's the relationship, right? So we learn this one, right? The purpose. Our purpose, the ultimate purpose of universe with human being as the center is return joy to God. So as we are God's creation, if we ask what's the purpose of our life, the answer is returning joy to God, right? And to return joy to God, we must be happy, isn't it? If you're not happy, then how can you return joy to God? Isn't it? That doesn't make sense. I'm suffering, miserable. Can you say, here you go, God, you can still receive my joy? There's no joy, right? So fundamental, there's a link. We have to be joyful. We have to be happy to make God happy, right? So there's no disconnection. So in essence, life of a purpose, there's so many things we do for providence, church, many things, but in essence, life of a purpose is also to be happy, right? We have to be happy. That's actually our life of purpose. Sometimes we feel guilty. Okay, I want to be happy myself, and then sometimes looking around, right, and around the world, okay, we understand that feeling, right? But in essence, right, that's principal perspective. God wants you to be happy, and He wants to receive joy from His children, meaning that the children have to be happy. For example, let's say you greet in the morning, and then, right, Patricia saying, yeah, let's greet each other. You're so not happy today. I'm angry, right? So you come on some circle, passenger coming, hey, and then he ignore, right? There's another person coming, you ignore again, right? So that kind of thing is, when you're not happy, you cannot really express your joy. You cannot create that positive energy around the people, right? Same for God. If you don't have that joyfulness, the happiness in your heart, God can immediately feel that. I don't receive that joy. Even you acting, you seems like joyful, but in a true sense, that it's not, right? God can also feel that too. So how we can really create true joy then, right? The money gonna give you joy, or fame, power gonna give you joy, right? The true joy comes from the relationship, loving relationship, like Bruce mentioned, right? So sometimes we have a good time with someone you love, then you really feel the joy, right? Happiness, isn't it? It's not the money, right? Money you got lottery, for example, right? In few days it can get bored. But truth is that you need that loving relationship. That's most important. That creates happiness and joy. Even Almighty God, He doesn't have money. He doesn't have anything ever, right? He has time, everything, but He didn't have that relationship. That's why He had to create all things, His object partners, right? That makes sense. So when we fail to have these loving relationships, we cannot feel joy and happiness, right? So many people suffering, miserable at the end, they don't have good relationships. And in that sense, let's really be honest in our church, right? So we have a principle, very clear, right? Direction, vision, what we should do is all written there. But when I apply, okay, I want to do that. 4-position foundation, centered on God, my mind and body going to be united and centered on God, right? Becoming good person, or I want to have the wonderful family centered on God, husband and wife, unite perfectly, right? And then have that wonderful children. That's ideal. So we have this like a 4 great realm of heart, right? When we talk about relationship, we talk about 4 great realm of heart, right? The relationship between husband and wife, relationship between parent, children, relationship between sibling, relationship between, right? So children toward the parents. That's all different relationships we're talking about. And that should be realized through true love, right? We talk about that, we learn about that, we're trying, but I don't know. Sometimes that's the very strong. Our principle is very strong. I'm trying to reach. I'm working on it. I don't know. Are we really making that happen, or are we just saying it? Right? That was also my struggle too. Right? I'm speaking, I'm talking about that every Sunday. But am I realizing that too? Right? That's my reflection too. We're trying to reach that, become perfected individual, reach and state of perfected relationships, realizing perfected four-position foundation. We work so hard to realize ideal family, ideal relationship between husband and wife, ideal relationship between parents and children, the ideal relationship between brother and sister in our community, etc. We keep talking about it. But are we really realizing? That's my question I had in myself. Is it really realized? Is that really true? I can do it? Can I do it? We keep saying we are working on it, right? Working on it. I'm 50. I'm still working on it. And I don't know how many years I'm going to live more, but I'm still working on it. What that mean? Right? We have above, beyond. There's the highest, like the principle there. We're trying to reach. Are we really reaching it? When I reflect my situation, my relationship with all my family, my spouse, my children, are we really reaching it? That was a question I had. Right? So something we are missing. I was missing something in myself. My talking and the reality sometimes is different. I have to go through lots of challenges too, right? Doesn't matter, right? It can happen with any leaders, pastors, or family. I hear that many pastors feeling that I'm hypocrite, right? Because what I'm saying, what I'm preaching is not really, I can realize in my actual life. That's one of the challenge I think we have here, right? I had that Chonbo interview for every couple in Minnesota. Yeah, they are working on it. They are trying. But are we reaching the perfection? Right? So something is wrong. Something, our thinking may be not correct. Something is missing. Something we are not really seeing the right way. Something I think we have to really correct ourselves. How thinking, how we think, how we trying to do. We have to realign what we're really trying to do. Right? So that was a kind of question I've been having to myself too. So we did a high idea, right, in our life goal. Keep trying, right? We're saying, I'm working on it. But when we can say, yes, I did it. Look at God. I made it happen. I made a perfect relationship. I realized 4 great realm of heart. I have this perfect, loving relationship with my wife, my children, my parents, right? How can we think that can be realized in our lifetime? If we keep saying, I'm working on it, that may be happening in the future. I'm keep working on it. Then we are missing something. We are missing the precious time of a moment. Many times we're trying to do something, okay, we're pursuing, right? Let's say pursuing happiness, right? There's a Will Smith movie. Did you watch that? So he doing everything. My goal is a stockbroker. I want to be successful. He's so working hard and pursuing that happiness. But what I realized that happiness is not things we pursue or trying to achieve. Happiness is a process, right? All the work you do to realize that relationship, that's the process. Sometimes we neglect that process is so beautiful, right? We struggle with our spouse. We struggle with our family. We struggle with our brothers and sisters sometimes, right? We struggle with God. Why I'm having this trouble? I cannot go through this. So difficult, right? But we can say I'm keep trying to achieve it, but we are missing the process, the current moment. Whatever struggle we go through, we feel like we are not realizing that moment. I'm trying to do more, commit to do more. That kind of process is a beautiful thing for God, isn't it? So I know that many of us may feel like, okay, am I happy? Right? I'm pursuing the happiness. I want to reach that. But think about the process to reach it, right? The current moment is so beautiful. That's what I got, maybe when I reflect. Okay, don't miss out, right? The current moment is so precious. That's the joy to God as well. It's not like you package, you deliver to God, that's joy for God. Whatever life you have, you go through, that was a precious moment. That is a joy to God as well, right? So let's think that way. Then we can find the happiness in everywhere, isn't it? Right? So even the relationship sometimes doesn't go well, right? I have an argument, but I have a trouble with my parents. I don't have that feel connection, but recognizing it, I want to invest, I want to commit to keep making, right? Working on it. That process is happiness too, then joy for God as well. Right? So happiness again is a process. It's not a goal, not a destiny. We have to embrace that whatever we experience, to achieve that is happiness as well. Let's be happy, right? Even we go through many difficult times. I know that many young adults going through many things too, right? In the high standard. Certain age, I want to be matched and blessed. Certain age, I want to have a family. Certain age, I want to have children. Certain age, right? There's so many things to do. But if I don't reach that on time, then I feel like I'm behind, isn't it? But let's again think that process. Whatever you go through with God, whatever your situation you have, right? That's the process to go through. And that can be joy to God as well. Don't be truthful, right? Before God. Say things you want to say. Then you will still create the joy. You will still returning joy to God. Love the current moment, right? Enjoy the air we breathe. Enjoy the food you have. Enjoy the Sunday service. Look around the brothers and sisters, right? Right? This is truly, if you really embrace this moment, even you have some uneasy situation with any brother, any sisters, but I'm working on it, God. This is my commitment. I'm going to go through this. Then this is process. That also, for God's eye, that's joy, isn't it? So let's really embrace current stage of our life. Whatever situation, whatever challenge we have, whatever things we have, but that's the process to grow. So let's really embrace time of struggle, time of difficulties, and love the moment. Love it right now. Any moment, right? That's blessing. I want to return to God. I want to return my joy to God. So really recognize that any challenge we have in our life, right? Just be with God, right? Love God. And then you will find that joy, even you go through so many things, right? And they will overcome. So current moment can be precious time in your life puzzle, isn't it? We don't know my life clearly. I'm working on it, right? I'm putting the puzzles. But all those struggle can be also the precious moment at the end in the puzzle in my life. And that struggling time can be also joy, right, to God. So God wants to experience joy and happiness with His children at this moment. He's not saying you have to do this and that, then I will feel joy. I will receive joy from you, right? The moment you do whatever, right? You work with God, you try and create the process, then God will receive joy. We want to be happy, right? God want to be happy with who you are now. Don't feel like, okay, I'm church member, I didn't do this and that, that's why I cannot be joy for God. No. Whatever situation, as long as you clear, I'm going through this process, then that's the joy for God as well. So don't think I'm not ready to return joy. to God because of my circumstance, right? My struggle, my situation, right? I cannot return joy to God. No, God is want to be with you. And right now, at this moment, whatever situation, yeah, you can still return joy to God. So how much you love God? You saying like, okay, I love God. At the prayer, right? We had that with our worship team before Sunday, preparing the Sunday service. And Victor saying, I love you, God, right? I really like that, love that. That his prayer. So how much you love God? Right? So this is the Father's word. So he said that the way to, this is one of his speech, maybe his sermon. So many people will cling to God very strongly, but many people have many different reasons. Some people want something out of God, so they just hang tight. And then some people will just cling to Him because they like Him. They don't care if God doesn't give them anything. If someone would cling to God very strongly, hoping to get something out of Him, then God would not feel so good about it. But if someone unconditionally cling to Him because he or she likes Him, then there's nothing God can do about it. Then when you like God, no matter what, then He can never deny you. God had no way of denying you. Would you like to become like that someday? Right? Many people, many religion, right? Even Christian, the reason they go to church, they pray, is to get something out of God, isn't it? I want to get something out of God. That's why they go. They may give me the happiness. They don't have an idea of returning the happiness to God, right? So when you really have that the oneness with God, it's not like I want to get something from God. I just like Him, right? I just like Him. I want to be with Him all the time. That kind of feeling is amazing things we can recognize. What Father Moon really teaches. So many of us may say like, okay, I don't know my relationship with God, right? I don't have much feeling. I don't have a face. I don't know, right? My face is dull, boring. Do you know why that happening? If anyone saying like, okay, I don't know, my face is dull. I don't really like have that kind of like a face of life with God. That means that one of the reasons can be you don't have memories with God. Right? Think about the prayer, right? The reason we pray is create the memory with God. Whatever life of a stage we have, you pray, we go through struggle. Did you ever create the memory with God, right? When you are weak, when you like feel like I broke, and you go through that step, right, with God, and then you recovered and you be succeeding, right? Then that's a whole lot of story you had with God, the memory you create with God. The one of the reason we don't have that feeling in our face can be we don't have a memory. We don't create memory with God. Isn't it? Look at that. Like Pastor Elizabeth's will, right? Blessed for over 30 years now, right? The reason, right, Pastor Elizabeth like William is that the memory they share for 30 years. Having family, starting a family, going Korea for receiving blessing, having children, right? All the life moments, memories, they share, they create. That's why William is so vivid for Pastor Elizabeth. Pastor Elizabeth is so important, precious, so vivid to William because they share the memory. But when you think about God, how much memory you are sharing with God? That's also a question, right? I want to like God, but how much you really inviting God and share your memory? You create memory, go through that difficult time with God. And at the end, right, after you finishing the tunnel, you see that, God, yes, you really were with me. Thank you, God. Then your memory will remind you, enforce, right? Strengthen your faith as well. Starting with the prayer. Prayer is so important. That's why if you go to Chunshimon, start creating that memory, right? Reporting your situation. Talk to God. Have the time with God. Ask God. Cry with God, right? Yelling at God, why this is not happening? I did everything you asked. Why still this is happening? You can even yell at the God, right? When you do that, when you have that truthful, that kind of relationship with God, the memory you create with God, God's become real, living God. It's not like you praise, sing, right? You have that moment of a feeling of this kind of inspirations. It's not. You have to create a memory. If we want to experience God, Elisa, we need to create many memory with God through prayer. We have to create a memory, even share the struggle, right? Laugh, joyful time, everything. We have to create lots of memory with God. Then your faith will be never shaken because that's your memory. Like Pastor Elizabeth and William share the memory, right? We have to create the memory. Otherwise, we cannot experience God. So if you think that your faith is not strong and then do not have a much relationship with God, then pray. Start creating the memory with God. So again, in conclusion, right, the one of the challenge in our church is one of the challenge we Unification Church member face in our course of faith is that we must not only understand the principle but also know how to instill in our life. Isn't it? That's the challenge. If you just look at the principle, it's so clear. But reaching it in reality is not easy. So, right? That's why I keep saying I'm working on it. So, God created all things to experience joy and happiness with His children. If we want to return joy, we must be happy. We must be happy people too. You want to build the kingdom of heaven on earth? All of us here should be happy, isn't it? Otherwise, how are you going to say, I'm going to build kingdom of heaven, but I'm not happy? Look at my spouse, I'm not happy. That's real, right? Really want to make it real in our life? Then we have to really create happiness. Lots of happiness, right? We can change the world with the truth. On top of it, we can also change the world with joy and happiness. That's very important. Think, right? Myself, how can I be happier, right? It's not just for you, it's for God as well. God needs to have that joy and happiness together with you. So let's be the happy people of Cheonilguk. Invite God to share the joy, share the memory, create memory together. In our church too, right? We do the prayer vigil. That's how we create the memory with God, right? We're going through this, the period of like a blue dragon spirit, right? We want to create the memory together as a church. So we do that vision, right? So join that memory, create the memory with God. Let's continue to build Cheonilguk as we love to, not as we have to, right? So far, I feel like I was doing, I have to. But now I want to change myself. I want to do from now on, I want to do as I love to, right? Don't feel like someone giving the direction I have to follow. I have to do. No, I love to do. That's the real important transition we have to make in our mentality. Otherwise, our faith will not grow. You're not going to be happy because you do, because you have to, not you love to. Isn't it? So let's change that thinking, right? Love to. Also, think that happiness is a process, not the goal. Every moment you can find happiness. Don't think that I'm going to go through after reach this and that, I'm going to be happy. Right? Many people think that way. Right? That's why I persevere. I'm going to hold on to that until that moment. But God is different, right? He want to have that moment of happiness, joyfulness, right? Anytime, right now. So find yourself, how can I be happy? That's a good thing to do, right? So as you know, our leadership teams, our mission statement is that, right? True happiness, gain true happiness through this holy community. Happiness is a process, not a goal. So don't wait to reach the goal. Let's create and experience true happiness and happy life now, right? Let's do together, right? So hopefully you reflect yourself and see, ask a question, am I happy? Right? Then let's start thinking that, yes, I'm happy. I find happiness, right? Even I go through many things, many struggle, but through that, this is a recognize that I'm gonna commit to do better, and this is a process. Every moment count. That's beautiful, beautiful moment for God. That can be joy to God as well. So let's think that way and have a great, amazing, happy life we can create together. Thank you, everyone.